How are you now? It's James Whelan, and you are listening to the Theory of Thing Investment Podcast, brought to you by Wakey Wakey. I am joined by Heath Moss of e13 Investments. Heath, how are you now?
Very well, thanks, mate. Very well. Quiet week for you this week. Nothing major, although
Oh,
kids went back to school
oh,
and one of them's sick.
oh.
Uh, although it was
Failure.
one day. It was only one day.
Sick, 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 sick.
Yeah, we had the littlest one, our 2-year-old. She was radiating heat on Sunday night. She was quite sick and feverish and
Mm.
whatever. Yeah, then our oldest was off yesterday, so it starts again. It starts
Mate,
again.
just straight back around the revolving door. These kids are going to have the immunity of like Spider-Man. The amount of stuff they've been through. They're going to be like, yeah, just
I
super
know.
strong, super
I
strong.
know.
They have got, what do you call the things when you have a disease and then your virus and your antivirals or whatever. I don't know.
Antibodies.
Yeah, your antibodies, right?
Yep, yeah, yep,
These kids are like 90% antibody. It's great, super strong. Just bench pressing viruses left out.
yep,
Mate, we've had a week. We have
yep,
had a week. Yeah, started out Tuesday morning, rocking up because I got called for jury duty. And I'm
yep.
all about doing my civic duty, but it was a big
Hmm.
week. We had a big week going on. New deals, new companies coming in, trying to sign some new mandates that we've
Yep,
got. The usual ins and outs. And I've gone, hey team, I've been called to jury duty. I'm going to do my best to get myself excused. Although I
yep.
will owe because I'm a civic minded person. It's just part of who I am, and
Hmm.
sort of part of the belief system that I have. That yeah, and so I want to do it, but I literally just can't this for a few weeks, right? I've been there for one
Yep.
year. This is the big sort of we've got some amazing deals coming on, and we had people coming into the office that day, and I'm just going to have to get myself out. So I've limped all the way down to the courthouse, all the way back, I'm not all the way down, got myself out of it.
Yep.
And he said, I just need to see this piece of paper to show that you are, that there's this sort of thing. I won't say the reason that I needed.
Yep.
And yeah, and I did. He was happy to excuse me for that one, but I'll owe them one. I did sort of say I'll owe them one. I tell you what, when I retire, I'm just gonna sit on juries because I reckon I owe them a few. I'd love to just be an old guy sitting on a jury.
Yep. And then what you do afterwards is start a podcast about all the once they're done, said and done, you can start a podcast about all the cases you've seen.
All right.
So
Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna drop a magnesium wakey wakey to get me through it.
I've just got the berry.
You got the berry one.
Yep.
I got the magnesium one. I usually take it on because I'm working from home
Yep.
today. On three or after three.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, on three. One, two. That's the delay.
Beautiful.
Clink clink.
That's the Adelaide delay.
That's the yeah. Getting it there for carrier pigeon. Oh mate, and OVT. We are
Yeah.
we are active in
Us.
the stock. I mean, full disclosure, we are active in the stock. New so this a new CEO came on uh,
Mm.
um, from ex
Yeah.
Zip USA CFO who switched over, and the stock is just like you can sort of see what they're going to be doing in the US and the
Yep.
growth trajectory that they're going to have. And the stock was up 400% yesterday, and
Hmm.
we're happy to keep going.
Yeah.
So
When you mentioned it yesterday, I have to admit I had no idea who they were, and I just had a quick look.
it's a
The
new one for me as well, mate. Yeah, they
buy
kind of
now,
just
pay later
it's a pineapple,
space.
pilot, yeah.
Yeah,
And I love
and
that space.
the Zip guy, he's got a little bit of pedigree. The Zip US Zip sector is doing quite well.
Yeah.
He's done quite well with it, so hopefully he can do the same for OVT.
I mean, if you break out and you have a look at his package, it's
Well, hang on a
compared
minute,
hey.
man.
Yeah, when I said we're active in the stock.
Very active, eh?
I gotta say, let me rephrase that.
Let me check out your package, Mister OVT.
If you look at his salary package, you have a look at the KPIs that he's measured against, you just go, okay, there's a reason why these KPIs have been put in there and what it can do with the growth and it's all been done. Sort of, it's a good way of sort of knowing what strategy the company is going to be employing based on the KPIs that they've set for it.
Yep.
Not to give
Yep.
anything away, but yeah, definite. I mean, huge growth trajectories changes the entire valuation of the company. Again, active holder. We are buying the stock.
Fantastic.
And yeah,
Fantastic.
general advice only when it comes to this podcast, so my friends. So do your own homework, but deeply undervalued. And here's the other thing: is that there was a rights issue, which only got a small amount. There was a huge shortfall. All of a sudden, everyone
Everyone
wants
wants
to
in.
know. Everyone wants to know about that shortfall. So say, hey, mate, you want yesterday's apples, mate? You know what? Yeah, yesterday's prices. You got to eat yesterday's apples, and you can't do
Exactly.
that. So anyway,
Exactly.
yeah, pretty happy there. So it's good. So this afternoon, I'm taking, and it's a rare time I'm actually taking. I've got to go and defend our title um, in this massive golf tournament that's held for St Pius, the St Pius 10 rugby golf tournament. We won it last year, myself and three of the guys. So I'm just like, you know what, Friday afternoon, I've got the desk set. I've got the everyone's all good. We've gone out, clients' orders are. It's like the engineering that you have to do to depart an office
Yep.
as the head guy is like the Normandy invasion planning. It's just anyway. So everyone's all set, which is good. I'm just going to go. You know what? It's been a week, start to finish, the whole way through. Just going to take some time. Mate, anything from your end apart from sick kids?
No, just having the market's getting a little bit interesting at the moment. So I've got a few stocks that I'm sort of looking at. I was having a look at Webjet versus Flight Centre to see, because Webjet brought out a disappointing earnings update during the week, and I was saying, all right, how do they compare to Flight Centre at the moment? Short end of the stick is, Flight Centre is a much better company, in my view. But I'll probably put something in my newsletter next week about it. And just looking at a little mining stock, Metro Mining. I think it's one of yours from a few months ago, and bauxite. And the bauxite market looks like it's heading up, and these guys could be rolling in cash over the next probably at least 12 months. So, been picked up a few of them around the 5 to 5.5 cents mark over the last week. So yeah, good.
Okay, all right, mate. You just launched straight into your market wrap.
No worries. No worries. We're going to start a little bit different today. We're going to start on the XJO because I think that's where the most important news for the week is. And it came out yesterday. We had the Australian jobs figures out yesterday, and headline numbers were hot. We had added 64,000 jobs for the month of September. Versus 25,000 expected. Unemployment dropped from 4.2 to 4.1. The participation rate picked up to 62. No, was it? No, 67.2, sorry, versus 67.1. So more people were engaged in the market, but we still saw that unemployment rate drop. So basically this means no cuts for this year. That's it. The RBA, even though I'm skeptical of these jobs numbers simply because the government related jobs are basically all it is. It's basically you can brand it the NDIS jobs report because that's where all the jobs are coming from. Basically, is the NDIS, the healthcare system, and the education system here in Australia, and it's all government led. Private sector is not hiring, but headline number is what it is, and that's what the RBA are looking at. And so that means there will be no cuts this year. We saw Australian yield spike on the back of this. Australian dollar spiked on the back of it. So probably, I think consensus for first cut now is either between February and May for most of the big banks next year. I know NAB brought theirs forward last week to February. But yeah, there's no chance of a cut this year. But the XJO is doing really well. You can see on the screens there, we made new record highs yesterday. We were off a little bit this morning. And that was basically on the back of a flat US market last night. But up nicely last night. And I mean, I suppose you can look at it. I mean, if we've got a strong jobs market still, I mean, it could suggest that the Australian economy is healthier than expected. But I'm still skeptical on that based on, what I just said before. Government is creating most of these jobs. So yeah, that's the Australian market and doing very well. If we move on to the US S&P 500, we cracked a new high earlier in the week, and we're off of that just a little bit. I think the US market's up about 0.5%. Actually, the XJO is up 1.7% for the week, so we're outperforming our US counterparts. S&P 500. Basically, it's all about earnings for them this week. We did have retail sales come out last night, and they were hotter than expected, up 0.4% versus 0.3% expected. Again, suggesting the US economy is turning around and accelerating, so doing very well. Some of those rate cuts are being priced out as expected, but Powell and Co, they're very intent on getting those rates back down to closer to neutral. I would expect their November meeting to have 25 basis points and December again, 25 basis points. It's next year where I think we'll see maybe some of those cuts priced out. I think they won't get to that 3.5 rate by June or July next year, but it's a good thing. I mean, it just means the US economy is doing very, very well. So yeah, the Nasdaq down.
And as we've shown that the interest rates don't really affect the market at this current time. Well, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. I mean, not when you're in this sort of Goldilocks scenario. I mean, I think initially, if we were talking about 12 months ago and, rates yields were getting a little bit hotter again, I think the market would have come off a little bit more. But I think because of where the US economy is now and the fact that the market is content with the path being a gradual cutting cycle rather than an aggressive one, I think it's it's fine. There's nothing to worry about there. Cool. So we got the Nasdaq that was down about 0.5% this week, I think it is, and that is a little bit surprising considering the S&P 500 was up. Not much to say there except that it's still not at its highs. It made in July this year. So it is lagging a little bit, and I think the breadth of the market, the breadth of the rally is just spreading a little bit more, which is good news. Now, if we want to talk about earnings a little bit, because we had a few important ones, especially in the semiconductor space.
Yeah.
We had to start the week and got everyone a little bit nervous about AI.
This was so funny that they accidentally. Sorry, you go.
No, yeah, you're right. They dropped their earnings a day early.
And accidentally uploaded it onto their website.
Yep.
The algorithms are set to scrape the website when there's something that's going on there.
They're being asked by the SEC. They're saying what the hell's going on. I think it was just a mistake. Obviously, just technical area. I don't think there's anything behind it, but they had their worst day on record. They were down, I think, 20% there. I think it's 16%.
Yeah, the only thing that could be worse than accidentally posting your earnings a day early is accidentally posting those earnings a day early. At least they were accurate. Okay.
Well, the actual earnings weren't too bad. The Q3 earnings weren't too bad. It was their commentary for next year which spooked everyone. It was, they're not seeing the strength in orders that they were this year, et cetera, and especially China. But I think the China stuff, you're going to have to expect companies like these. Their sales to China are going to have to retract because they're going to get pressure from the US because ASML is a Dutch company. Wow. They're going to get pressure from the US to cut back on their supply of because ASML make the machines, make the instruments that actually make semiconductors. So they're very, very important in the whole supply chain of things. So without them, China are a little bit, screwed. So they came out with those earnings, and the market was a little bit spooked on them. Nvidia was down a couple of percent on the back of this, but not down as much as you would have thought. And then last night we had Taiwan Semiconductor Group come out with their earnings, and they did the opposite. They blew it away. Their earnings beat on every metric. Their commentary was super bullish. They were saying things like, I'll just read a couple of things now. So AI demand is just the beginning and will continue for many years. Everything stabilized, started to improve for overall semiconductor demand. Now, that was contradictory to what ASML said. ASML said that AI was still super strong, but the rest of the semiconductor space was extremely weak. So a little bit of contradiction there. And just next year looks to be a very healthy year overall for TSM. I think their 3 nanometer and 3 nanometer and 5 nanometer chips made up about 50% of their earnings, which is the AI space. That is where all those AI space, those chips are printed. So that was that. And Nvidia was up a couple percent last night on the back of that. I think it touched record highs at one point. So, that was earnings this week. We had the big banks in the US come out also this week. I think Goldman's and Morgan Stanley come out and blew everyone away. So overall, so far, the earnings season has started off very, very well. And we have the big week, I think, next week with Microsoft, Google, Amazon, etc., or Meta. So that will be the week everyone really focuses on. So that's that. And like I said, yields sort of stable. They did spike a little bit higher and come off and then settle flat. We'll talk about gold quickly. Gold hit new record highs in US dollars and Australian dollars. It's over 4K an ounce now in Australian dollars, but now over 2,700 in USD. Again, don't really know why that's happening. The US dollar strengthening, yields have strengthened. I couldn't give you a concrete answer as to why gold is so strong still. But gold stocks are still lagging. And my only concern there is the metal has moved so much so quickly over the year. It can't possibly keep on going and have such another good year next year. So what is going to happen to those gold stocks when the gold or the shiny stuff turns around? So
you think it's just like a relative value rotation from managers?
Yeah.
Good best. Yeah, just finding the next thing. They've just gone, look, that they've hit their areas, and now let's go to the next thing. Uranium stocks, for example, something like that.
Oh, uranium, mate. Uranium is on fire. If you want to look at
just URA isn't the
this one's the Sprott Miners ETF. This is on TSX. This is a really good indicator because it's actually uranium miners and not the other one has a lot of uranium supply chain stuff in it as well.
Yep.
But these guys, you can see they're still well off their highs. 60 is as high as it's currently 51.
Yeah.
We had Amazon sign a contract to do small modular reactors this week. Google got on the bandwagon last week with some of your reactor talk and support. The positive momentum behind uranium now is building, and it's only a matter of time before that spot price moves. And I mean, I suppose you can say uranium stocks have started to move again. Look, if we look on the Australian exchange, look at Platin, you can see the big gap up there from around $12 to $13. Great consolidation there, but still well off their highs of around $18. So still a good 30% off their highs. So I'd expect, I'd say uranium, copper, tin, and I'm going to add bauxite now, are my favorite metals for 2025. I think
I got tin, and did you have aluminium in there?
Oh, bauxite, aluminium, same sort of
what
class.
a load of bauxite. Okay. Okay, so our picks are aluminium, tin, bauxite, uranium,
and copper. Copper's a constant.
Copper's a constant. Copper. Okay, that's good. Yeah. All right, that's pick. Right. That's fresh.
That's fresh. Hot off the press.
You don't get any fresher than that. You want ideas? I got ideas for you. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna write this with this. My sister being a doctor, all of the pens that we've sort of just inherited around the house and when you move and things are always ones that make you look like, if someone came in here and just went, I don't know what's wrong with you, James, or why it is that you have a pen with that written on it, but I'm not touching it.
You got the swag. You got the drug.
It's all these drug
swag.
pens. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So uranium, copper obviously is an ongoing.
Tin and bauxite / alumina. Aluminium.
Bauxite. Okay. So we're going to find. So we've just put a research analyst on.
Okay.
Stoked about it. Christopher Gordon. Is our guy. Now this is part of building a business here. You know, continue always in build mode. I've been there for 1 year and 1 day, and thank you everyone for the messages that they sent through on that. But it means now, because we've been sort of going through, you know, as we're building, sort of rebuilding, regrowing, regrowth. Okay, we can't. It's now time for us to stop doing this ourselves. We are skilled and competent at being able to do the stuff that we were doing ourselves. Which we thought, why don't we get a really good research analyst to really bolster the team? So head of research now booked. Welcome to the team, Christopher Gordon. So I'm going to find. We got a uranium, copper, aluminium, bauxite, tin. We're going to jam out some ideas on that and see if we can run something that's really smart at the back of that. Okay.
Yeah, the bauxite and tin side of thing is very, very thin. There's only a couple of stocks in each that you'd probably look at, and I'm on two of them. So yeah.
What are we buying? Whatever Heath bought yesterday.
Yeah.
Mate, what else you got cooking for us?
That's about it. It's been a quiet week, but a busy week on markets, with not much said, but a lot said. So yeah. It's one of those weeks. But yeah, we have the elections rolling around in a couple of weeks. Is that November 5th? the election? Is it
First
or
Tuesday in
November
November.
6th our time?
No, it's not first Tuesday in November. That's
Yeah.
Melbourne Cup. It's something.
Okay.
Some Tuesday. That's
Yeah.
the sort of thing that I would have known off the top of my head. Weird. Weird. That's good. I just lost some information. How wonderful. Okay. Well, that's it. Now, I'm going to cross over to really quickly, a fantasy football update.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I'm going to lose. I'm at 48% win. I can't believe I lost. I lost to cross the spread last week.
That's embarrassing.
I had it was you can't change on the last day. He had one last player to go. I was ahead with like a 60% win probability with the one game with that Jets game to go on
Yep.
Monday night football. I don't know how it happened. I do not know how it happened. He had one player who just played out of his skin and scraped ahead of me by about half a point.
Yeah, 0.98 of a point. He won by.
That's the most brutal beat of the year for sure. We'll see if
And it happened in the last like couple of minutes of the game too. Where he gained 1.2 points from one of his running backs that won up for him. So yeah, but yeah, I'm getting back up there. I jumped above you for the first time this week. I'm into third in our league.
Okay.
I think I'm like 3-1 in the last 4 weeks or something like that, and scoring pretty heavily now. So a lot of the players that I had there that missed a bit of preseason are starting to roll now, and I picked up players like AJ Brown and Chubb off the waiver wire, so they'll be doing very well for me in the second half of the season.
Man, I'm wondering if I should. I mean, I've got a player here who's questionable with the concussion protocol. He's practiced, but he's still got a question mark over him. Marvin Harrison for the Cards. I don't know. Anyway, so congratulations. We got this here. So that's Robbie Farah. Wow. There's a guy who's killing it, mate. So Robbie's on top. He's doing well too, which is great. As like I said last week.
I think I didn't beat him last week. I beat whoever was top last week.
It's 5-1, mate. I think he only lost the first round, and then he just dominated from there. He's got the gift, I suppose.
Yep.
Total Mayhem. That's someone from our events team. Yourself has just leapfrogged me third, and then I'm in fourth. Grazza, my building mate, and Jai in sixth. Which, mate, she's a tight competition. I need to put some waiver things or something like that.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on the waiver wire. Pick up some good players.
I don't know how that works. I'm going with 4. You know what? Actually, I might just do. Okay, look. What else is going on? Are we
That's it. I'm done. I'll put my bet in for the week. Last week's bet came through. I think I had the Bears to beat. Who'd they play? I can't remember who they played.
They were playing in London, were they?
Yeah, and they won that easily. They were on fire. They were fantastic. This week I've got Jets to cover the spread away versus the Steelers. The spread's only 1.5. Jets are looking okay, apart from Rodgers choking last week, but they do gain Devontae Adams. Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, he's come across from the Raiders to the Jets in a trade this week. So Rodgers and him reunite from Green Bay days. So I think they will beat the Steelers, who've got a few injuries. That's paying $1.86.
Steelers, that's pretty good. Yep. I had a really good one here as well. I think the Vikings will beat the Lions. I'm a closet Vikings fan. If I hadn't been given the Saints by my friends and the Raiders by my allegiance to the crew over at Allegiant Stadium, I would be a Vikings fan, and I think the Vikings at $1.77 could just do it at home against the Lions, who played a pretty cocky offensive game last week in that absolute destruction of
Dallas,
a substandard Cowboys team.
Yeah, and they lost Hutchinson as well for the season now. Basically,
that was brutal. I still can't watch it.
No, it was one of those injuries you cringe. It's like I used to remember Gibril Cisse for Liverpool snapping his leg in half.
Yeah. I'm good, man.
Yeah. It's one of those injuries you don't want to look at, but you can't help but look.
Yeah, I know. It's just a car crash. All right, I've got a buttload of things to do, and before I'm checking out later this afternoon, I'm running a VLOOKUP. There you go. When was the last time you did a VLOOKUP?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, good. Mate, on that note, that's it. So we've got the fantasy update. We've done our bets. You've done your market report, and we've talked a bit of gibberish. Tick, tick, tick. I'm going to have some ideas out for you later on. We're going to decide if we're going to do a live podcast for the election day as we start to see results start to come in. See if we can get something really, really revved up for that.
That'd be good fun.
Yeah. Okay. I'll catch you later, mate. Have yourself a good weekend. Stay safe, everyone. Mark well.
You too. Have a good weekend, everyone. See ya.